So we could get totally slammed for sharing this Thunderbolts review score because we do have a bit of a different opinion that we even didn't expect from ourselves. So this is going to be a live, not edited review unless I say something like blah blah that I have
So,
to cut out
like now.
later on with YouTube Studio, but otherwise not edited at all. So guys, for context, and hi to Rivalker in the chat, for context, we are very disappointed that Marvel, for at least quite a few years now,
Yeah, yeah.
we barely
Forget
even
how
could
many.
finish Captain America, the new one. We are trying for a month to finish it.
Captain America.
About a month now. We
Yes.
never have time. We don't even remember to go and play it, to just finish it. When we
No.
get together, we are like always forgetting about it, always in a hurry to do streams, obviously, but we still
Or
always totally forget about
or
it.
there is just something much more interesting to do. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's why.
like be here.
Yeah.
So, so guys, you know, Thunderbolts was the movie that was the most non-interesting movie that we could ever like
Yeah,
imagine.
because in the comic books, these guys are total nobodies. I mean, that's not even the team in the comic books, by the way.
Yeah,
I mean,
Logan's gonna explain to
yeah,
you
it's
exactly how
always
it is.
different people. Not exactly all of them were in that team. Bucky was actually. And it's much like their answer to Suicide Squad on DC when Marvel thought, what should we do that we don't have exactly like this? Oh, okay, we know. We'll take these bad guys who are kind of douchebaggy. We'll put them in a team, a government team for missions that nobody else can do, and they're kind of, you know, nobody cares about them. So if someone dies, that will be okay. So here we go, we'll do that. Yes, and
Yeah.
then they smoosh them together. Hell, I think even Venom was in that team at one point, if I'm correct. So that's not the lineup, usually, but the same thing is with Suicide Squad in the movies. And I thought that this movie is going to be like Suicide Squad, which I hate utterly,
Yeah,
you know,
but
from the
it
bottom of my
isn't.
heart. But it isn't,
I mean,
yes.
for the most part, there's some elements here
Yeah,
and there you can
yeah.
say, but for the most part, it isn't like the Suicide Squad.
Mm,
Now, there are a few teams, and I actually saw a content creator on YouTube that was talking against the Critical Drinkers review, and he was calling the Critical Drinker a grifter.
right.
I'm sure that there's people out there, and we saw them ourselves, that are super intense when it comes to their comic book movies, and they will
Mm,
protect them and talk for them, not against them, whatever they are. It doesn't matter if they're slob or not, they just absolutely don't freaking care. They don't even critical think.
yeah,
They just say
yeah.
they're all amazing. And there are people that are always going to slam these movies, no matter what, if they're good or not. And we are from the people that will always call it what we see
What we
it,
see.
no matter if the previous movies were bad or good or whatever, case by case basis, objectively as much as possible, because movies are subjective, but objectively, when you think that we were here since this whole universe started.
Yeah,
We read comic books. Logan here read 500 tons of comic books, so he's
yeah.
not a grifter. I'm not a grifter as
Some
well.
of them I just look by the pretty pictures, but no, yeah, I'm not a grifter. Yes, I've been doing this since hell. I don't know how 155 years.
Yeah, yeah.
Again, yeah,
Yeah, the point is that we just want to say what we feel and think about a movie from the most fan objective perspective that
absolutely, yeah,
there
yeah.
can possibly be, because we are taking in mind what are these characters, who are these characters in the comics, how are they portrayed on
Mhm.
screen, is that good, does it have any meaning, substance, whatever.
Also, when does it need to be comic book accurate, and when it just have to fit the movie? Because those are two different mediums.
Yeah,
So yeah,
sometimes what is in the movies is better than what is in the comics, but of course that's rare. There's
yeah,
some occasions, some instances, some little examples here and there. The point is, it is a plethora of things. But let's get to the point. So, we went into this movie with the lowest possible expectations that anyone can ever have for a movie.
yeah,
And we were absolutely pleasantly surprised throughout this film,
yeah.
like from start to finish. Even the freaking stupid, in general stupid, not now,
In
but in
general,
general
yeah.
stupid end credit scenes had meaning and they were important.
Yes.
Like when does that happen? Because last time that I saw end credit scene, they were always so needless. I have to like stand in the theater for no reason, just sit there,
Yeah, yeah,
make my
yeah.
butt hurt even more from sitting just to wait for absolutely nothing. A second, a two of like a duck or
Yeah,
whatever.
just a scene that was just there just because oh, they were expected end credits in the end. So here we go, Hulk washing his socks,
Yeah,
for example.
for example,
Yeah.
just a metaphor.
Hi, Aston.
Hi Asto in the chat. So yeah, um, and of course, we were initially very disappointed by the actor that plays Sentry because he looks like a wuss,
Yeah.
like a complete soy boy.
I mean, just type Marvel Sentry in Google and look and be amazed at the great drawings, especially if you write David Finch. That's one of the artists who first drew him. Ginormous muscles and everything else, handsome face. It's a superhero, guys. It's a
It's a
superhero,
superhero,
so
yeah,
it's supposed to look like that. Yeah.
yeah. But they didn't even try. I mean, this
No, no.
this actor actually, he seemed that he really worked out. But there's
Mm,
only one scene in the movie that shows his abs partially, and you're like, oh my gosh, yes, that's amazing, great results. That's it. You
that's it,
don't
yeah.
see the rest of his body ever.
So that the soy boys don't cry. Well, there is no representation of us. There is a man with the abs, yeah. No
Yeah.
representation of you,
I mean,
sorry.
it's sad because you can tell that this guy trained. He has broad shoulders, and he usually doesn't like he doesn't look like that.
Yeah, yeah.
The other thing is he just looks like somebody hit him in the mouth 500
Five
times.
gonna times.
So it was very disappointing to see that this guy that looks like nothing plays this character, but when you actually see the context in the movie and how he is played, you see that this actor is absolutely amazing,
Mm,
and you see that he's supposed to be this very insecure guy that just goes through something and he doesn't know where he's
yeah,
at in
who
his life or whatever.
kind of, wanted to have some, powers because he thought he's not good enough
Mm-hmm.
for it, something that he ingrained in his life. So with thoughts like that, that actually give a good motivation for a character to that, I'm not good enough, but I want to become better, therefore superpowers, you know.
Yeah, and he
So,
actually has a real trauma that
mm,
he's dealing with, and it is presented in such a way in the movie that is not annoying, which is
yeah, yeah.
amazing because I would be the first person to be annoyed if I feel that they're pushing some stuff on me in a superhero movie that I don't like to see in a
Mm,
superhero movie. But here it's just not heavy at all in that way. It's not imposing, but at the same time, it's not flat either. So
yeah.
you feel it, you see it, you understand it, and you take it as a genuine thing. You don't take it as something that's really artificially pushed on you in the
Yeah.
movie, and it just it doesn't feel right. Nothing like that. It feels perfectly right, and it does not overstate its welcome. Whatever they did in this movie to tackle mental health, like people say about this movie, is just a part of like their lives in general.
Mm,
So it is perfectly integrated and it makes all the sense in the world that it's
absolutely. Yeah.
supposed to be there. But you still have great, absolutely great performances, great scenes. This was one of those scenes. Actually, all the scenes that they're put in this trailer are pretty good. There's no one dull moment in the scene. We were never bored
Mm,
in any
mm.
moment.
Unlike Captain America 4,
Yeah,
when we were utterly bored all the time.
the quality is crazy, guys, between Captain America 4 and
Yeah,
this movie.
yeah.
This
Really
movie is
surprising. Yeah.
10 times better. I mean, Captain America is literally unwatchable.
Yeah.
It's so bad. I mean, it's hard to put into
Yeah.
words.
And no, not because it's Sam Wilson who is the, Black non-Captain America. Even if it was Steve Rogers, if it was written and executed that way, again, it was going to be boring right away. So,
Hmm.
so yeah. And here, actually, speaking about that mental health thing, actually, it's not done mopey. It's not like they don't make fun about it, but they're also not too serious as we said. It's done in a good way that you feel what those characters actually have as problems. and the whole execution of that is really great, and it really can help you to think about it. That's a serious thing. Okay, so even superheroes can have that,
Yeah.
actually, as we see, specifically those here.
And this movie actually is written very
Yeah,
well
yeah, that's
this
what
time.
actually makes the great thing, because the last few movies were just not written well.
Yeah, all the lines were
Yeah.
falling flat on their faces. I mean,
Mm.
Marvel has become so, I don't know, what's
A
the word for
laughing
that?
stock.
Yeah,
you
campy,
know, campy, yeah,
doesn't have any substance. It feels on the nose. It
yeah,
feels forced. All the yeah the other movies,
yeah.
the other lines in all the other movies, but not here.
For example, in Black Widow, I hated the way that Red Guardian was presented, especially in combination with Yelena and then Natasha,
Yeah.
the Black Widow. Because of the stupid jokes, they really were not on place, not where they should be. They were all the time, but here is different. So here you can see these characters that you already saw in other movies or in other TV shows, uh, written better. So when you actually give them in hands of a person who knows what he's doing, then those characters become really likable. Here, I liked Yelena now. She wasn't obnoxious or annoying or anything.
Yeah,
Red
this
Guardian was actually funny this time. Okay,
really
he's not
funny.
like that in the comic books. He's not a total idiot or anything like that. But still, these jokes worked way better this time.
Yeah.
Really, really, really better.
He really has a ton of heart.
Mm,
So he's really super funny in this movie, like
yeah,
genuinely
yeah,
funny.
yeah.
But he's also heartfelt. He has a lot of love to give, and
Mm,
he's just a man who lost his way. He doesn't always know how to
yeah,
express
yeah.
himself and the love that he has for Elena. But when it was very important to do so, he did it.
Mhm.
I'm trying to like dance around some things to not really spoil
Yeah.
the movie, but we're just trying to tell you that this is really freaking meaningful,
Really,
actually,
really, yes. Yeah,
from all aspects. They're even a bit touching upon what happened with Mr. Walker over there,
yeah,
not Captain America.
yeah.
And if you haven't seen the show, and I have seen the show,
The
and
Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
yes, and
Yeah,
he didn't actually.
yeah.
This time he missed that because, well, it's not a good
Ah,
show.
yeah.
It was super woke mess. And
Unbelievable.
we're going to get to the woke, by the way.
Mm.
Is this movie woke? We
That's the
forgot totally to
question, yeah.
mention.
Yeah.
Yes. Hi to Dear Clinton in the chat, by the way. And Dear Clinton says, I had a good feeling about this movie, but I wanted to wait and see based on what we've gotten so far. Happy to get something good. Plus, I trust your judgment on such things. Yeah, thank
Yeah.
you, Dear Clinton. Yeah.
Thank you.
I mean, how many times I've told you that the movie is good or bad, and then you watch it and you're like, oh, yes, that's exactly what it is. Oh, by the way, we are streaming on Kick for some reason, and I'm not even
Eh, well.
there. I'm not even there. I'm gonna stop it.
Yeah, so that it doesn't slow us down or anything.
Yeah.
Instead. So yeah, it's really important when you have an ensemble movie like that, with a lot of characters, for all of them actually to have their arcs and kind of understand, even if it's small. Now, for example, Ghost, the girl there, who, by the way, in the comic books is a man, but who cares? She wasn't, all that presented in the movie, but the way that she was there to understand something about her was really well done. Even though it's a small role for her, you see her as a part of the team. That's again one of the movies that I haven't watched, because she appears as a villain in Ant-Man 2. I think I passed it back then for some reason, but I fully understand who she is. I mean, that version, because otherwise I'm going to see a different thing. And why was she put there in that team? So it was really done great like that.
Yeah.
Bucky was great too.
Yeah, Bucky was great
Yeah,
too, although I don't like this style with the longer hair,
yeah,
lack of muscle.
yeah.
Yeah.
I really think he should have been Captain America too, like in the comic books before Sam Wilson. But well,
I mean, these
apparently,
serums make them automatically look buff
yeah.
and strong, unless you want to tell me that because his serum is a bit less of something that he would just be himself.
He
Which,
decided not to train or what. But he had muscles in the previous movies, I think.
yeah, now
Yeah.
he's way
So,
worse,
yeah.
especially when you compare it to his arm, which, I
Yeah.
mean, his metal arm is really muscular, and the other arm is like, beep!
Bang,
So it's like,
bang.
you know, that's how he looks like. Ridiculous. but yeah, some people are complaining about the humor, but this time it
No,
was
it was really
perfectly
great. Yeah, yeah,
reasonable for the scenes. There's
exactly.
something very seamless done. I mean, there's some series and movies that really have this seamless humor
Mm,
flowing based on what is happening. So it's just like in real life type of a situation. There's some funny moments that
mm,
make you laugh all of a sudden in certain situations in life, and there's some moments that make you sad or angry.
yeah,
So it just in that same manner, how you can laugh and how you can cry, whatever. Sometimes in the same freaking day.
mm.
That is how this movie is made in the span of like 2 days, maybe. Is the
I
whole
think around 2 days.
is
Yeah, yeah.
the main story what's happening now in the present with the
Mm.
characters. And yeah, there's some funny moments, but they're absolutely worth it.
Balance, really,
And
really
you also see
balance.
how humor is a way to cope
Mm.
when it comes to the Red Guardian. Sometimes he just expresses himself like that because he's
Yeah,
being
yeah.
ironic towards himself. So it is absolutely great.
Yeah, there is none of that typical Marvel thing that we with the humor where you have a serious, really, really serious and good scene, and then 5 seconds later you mess the whole scene up with a stupid humor inside of it, like in Thor Ragnarok or Thor Love and Thunder, or here even in some of the Guardians of the Galaxy, like the second, for example, and the third we haven't watched, but still. Even Ant-Man 3, everything that is from one point up after the end game, with those humors, even in the Spider-Man movies, but anyway, so, so yeah, there is none of that, which I really appreciate, because I was mostly afraid of that we're going to have a stupid humor, serious scene, and then we messed it up 5 seconds later with a ha ha ha, jokey jokey, my name is Red Guardian, and stuff like that, there is none of that, really. Really balance, finally balance. Someone remembered, hey, remember when we had balance between jokes and serious things? People used to like that, so let's go
Yeah,
back and do it again. And probably Kevin Feige said, eh. So
yeah. And this, sorry guys, it's late. This void entity is presented
mm,
extremely well, also as a metaphor of, inner issues that
mm,
anyone may have, but this guy has superpowers, so whatever trauma he had, it just manifested into this other
mm.
personality, which is called the void, because that's how a person
It
would feel.
really made sense. Yeah, I mean it's very tough to handle that because in comic books it's even more convoluted. How his story is, and how the void appears, and should he be the two things now? How he gets even the powers? It was like a type of serum that he actually had for that. So they really did it in very grounded way
To make
to
sense.
make sense. Yeah.
Hmm.
Otherwise, it was just going to be a mess. That whenever you have a hero like that, who is all that powerful, but this one is different because now he has the mental issue, which is way different than, for example, Moon Knight, who is
Yeah.
the other character who has that. And it really made sense, and it was really scaled down, but in a good way to actually inspire you to tackle your issues if you have some of those.
Hmm.
You say really, really good, and it made sense. Why would he feel like that?
Yeah.
Once he gets powers, why certain thoughts will appear? If all his life he was in one way, then all of a sudden something else happens. So really, uh, the only issue I have with Sentry is the suit.
Yeah.
That's the only issue. It's a dumb suit, people.
It's
And there are people
horrible.
out there again on the internet who saw the suit and said it's so comic book accurate. It's not totally the same. Man, it's
Guys,
not the same. Have you ever seen him in a comic book?
it's just
It's
yellow.
it's
That's
just
the
not the
only.
same.
Yeah, that's the only thing, and the
That's
belt.
the
That's
only
the
thing.
only
Yeah,
thing that
yeah, and the
resembles.
belt. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and the
But
belt. That's it.
not the same musculature. Nothing. It's
There
again.
is no musculature. Like what musculature? I'm
I
gonna
mean,
try to find it.
if people ask me, hey, Logan, which are the two of the worst superhero suits in movies you have ever seen? I'm totally saying the new Superman stuff and this suit,
Yes.
you know. And there is even an action figure of him.
Oh God. Yeah, we just found.
So yeah, yeah, you pull up some images. So really, but that's it. That's my only gripe. So
I'm gonna also get the action figure because I'm not sure if I'm going to actually
yeah, yeah,
find the costume from the movie. There's some
the action
very
figures
blurry
show it.
shots.
Okay. So really, if James Gunn didn't do all the stupid stuff he showed us for now for Superman, I would kind of have a hope that we still get a dumb suit but a good character presentation, but that probably won't happen. But here we have that. Okay, we have a dumb suit. We don't see it all that much anyway. But a great character presentation. So really, that's a great version of Sentry that we see here, which once again proves that it doesn't need to be totally comic book accurate as personality as long as it works on the screen. And you can make it actually better sometimes. And I think that this was done better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And his powers are
Yeah,
amazing.
really in a good way. Now, in the comic books, they say that he has the power of 1,000 exploding suns. We don't need to see all that exactly in that way here. So it was really good presented. Now, I would be happy if the guy also had a jaw, you know.
Yeah, he's really
but
messed up in the jaw.
but yeah, but at least he
unfortunately.
trained really, and now that we're going to see how he trained of that suit. But still, so yeah, people, if you think that this is comic book accurate as it looks,
I mean, comic book accurate
no,
means that they have to have muscle
yeah,
first and
yeah,
foremost. Then
exactly.
that muscle should be seen on the costume, which means that yes, you do
Yeah,
need a muscle suit
mm,
because how else you're going to
mhm,
showcase his body? So the irony is that an actor needs the muscle
mhm,
suit who looks like his body, and
mhm,
that fabric on top can be sewed onto or glued onto
mhm,
this muscle suit.
yeah,
So you can actually see the muscles of the actor, basically. But he also put in the work and he also is muscular under there.
yeah.
But you cannot glue the costume to his muscles. So you need this, this muscle suit that
You
is going
need
to
to
be,
have that definition.
yeah, it's going to
It
mimic the
cannot be,
muscle.
oh, I'm sick of fake muscle. There is no other way, people. Don't forget, comic book suits, that's essentially you draw the character naked, then you cover the skin. That's how you have all these muscles. That's it. In real life, there is no way that to work. If
Yeah,
no matter what spandex it is, here if you see Power Rangers, they're wearing spandex, no muscles to be seen, but that's spandex. This is how it's going to look like if it's really spandex. So
yeah.
you need the fake muscle and all that.
Yeah, you need the fake muscle as long as you have the real muscle underneath and you know it.
Yeah,
That's the most
exactly.
important. So as you can see, guys, this looks so cheap. Like, what the
Yeah,
heck?
yeah,
This
really.
looks like a carton box with some fabric on top and rubber.
Something they put for 2 days, but. It's
Like, what is this? It's so bad. It's
really.
just so bad. If you see this on the street, you'll be like, who is this guy? I mean, it's not enough that it's yellow. Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
you're
I
not
got
even going to think that this is a cosplayer because they can do kind of better.
like, they
Yeah,
can do better, and they have
exactly.
done better
They
many,
have done
many,
better.
many, 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 many times. So I'm gonna delete that. It's horrible.
Like Lighton said, I said the other day my two favorite YouTubers are Gary and Helzo, but I have three to be fair. Logan K. No, thank you. Is there too an epic part of all of it, even though he doesn't have his own channel. Well,
At
this kind of is mine too.
Yeah,
you know,
that's
so
actually,
yeah,
yeah, basically
yeah.
it's his own channel. I mean, it's both of us channel, but yeah, basically this is also his channel. Yeah,
Yeah, but thank you, Clayton. Really, yeah,
yeah,
I appreciate it.
this is really our channel. So yeah, that's for real. And here is the, well, Marvel Legends figure. He's ugly as ever.
Of course,
And
they did a great job. When they have to do an ugly action figure, they're very good at that.
yeah,
Hasbro. Yeah,
just looks
so
horrible. So
still
it's
color.
perfect. Exactly. But yeah, we are in the age of very bad suits. In this whole movie, we had very bad suits. Everything else that we had before that had
Yeah,
better suits, they all look
absolutely.
bad.
Yeah.
There's not, like, nobody has a good suit here
Mm.
in this movie. Elena, as short as she is, and
She
these costumes are
has
just
normal clothing. Yes, I mean
how tall
for
is
most
actually
of the time,
Florence Pugh? Is that is not that that's
not
relevant, but
much,
I want to
not
say
much. You know, yeah,
Florence
pew,
Pugh. I don't know how to
pew.
spell that. Aha, Pugh.
Pug.
Pugh.
Maybe they
Uh,
won't tell us.
what? He's 164, but she looks so much shorter than this. It's probably structure.
Yeah,
But yeah, she's basically normal height. She's not short actually.
you know.
She's
So
only she's only this much shorter than
shorter.
me, which is nothing.
She's wearing ridiculous dresses
On the red carpet.
on a red carpet.
That's another
Yeah,
problem.
so that's another
Yeah.
thing. So yeah, now For the people out there who thought, that might be like the Suicide Squad, again, we
Mm.
say no, because the story and the characters are done better. Because here you get why those people get together. Actually, that's the thing. Uh, so Yastu is asking you how tall are you?
164 centimeters.
So she's 162 or something like
Yes.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, this much. This is the
Yeah.
difference. I'm this only this taller than
Mm.
her, which is yeah really nothing. But yeah, just she just looks stockier.
So really, yeah, executed way better, as we say, as characters, because none of the Suicide Squad characters were presented that good. They were just, they kind of have to tell you that we are the bad guys. In that
Mm-hmm.
movie. Here they don't have to do that because they're not exactly bad guys. I mean, okay, one of them was, the others were more like an anti-hero that do not good stuff. But you really get their motivation and everything else. I even, again, as you said about John Walker or US Agent, who they will never call US Agent because that sounds cheesy, right? Even for comic book
Yeah.
standard. But even him, you get why he's the way he is, actually. Even without watching the damn show. Yeah.
Yeah. Now let's get to the woke stuff.
Let's go there.
There's no woke stuff.
There is no woke stuff.
I mean, I'm happy to say that there's no woke stuff except maybe one little line, if you count
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Line, it's a line.
If you count that, because it's really not that on the nose or anything. So we interrupt this program for the special announcement. There are no woke stuff in the Thunderbolts.
Yes.
That will be all.
Yeah. So there's one line where Elena talks to what was her name again?
To Valentina.
Yes.
Yes. De
Valentina.
Fontaine.
And she just wants a better job from Valentina, basically. And Valentina is like, well, I love to help women. So sure, you
Yeah,
can get
that's
that
it.
job.
Yeah.
That's it.
Mhm.
I love to help women.
Yes,
Like,
yes,
that's it.
it's totally wokeless. Unless if you don't get too serious about the line we just said, I like promoting women or I like helping women. Not something that you can grab and say, no, walk, oh, and there are women in the movie.
I mean,
Women.
You can say that in any case. Maybe in another world, the line would be,
there was a
well, I love helping my heroes anyway.
yeah.
She could just say that. She
Yeah.
does not have to
But
say
I mean,
that
she's a woman too that is on a high position, so it kind of makes sense to say that. Okay, there was a congressman who was black, but that's not anything new.
Yeah.
So you kind of buy that. You don't say, oh, wait a minute, black people can't be on that high of position. They can.
Yeah.
They can, and they have. So here, nothing really that to go and poke around. I want to find something woke now to say that everything. No, there isn't. If there was, we were going to tell you.
Yeah, because
so, yeah.
it does seem that Fantastic Four is going to be very,
Oh.
very woke.
Oh.
And I don't know what Marvel are doing. Maybe they just want to test the waters. Like put out one movie that's not woke and one that is woke, and let's see which one's gonna stick or something.
Yeah, I really hope that this will help them. See, we got good results of that not woke movie, and then we put the woke movie, and then people didn't like it.
Yeah.
I really hope that they will see that kind of it works that way.
Yeah.
So yeah, so no woke stuff here, really. Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless if you really don't count that the main character is the woman. Is she the only main character? No. So here you go.
Who, Elena?
Yeah.
Oh. I mean, yeah, she's kind of the main character, but there's I mean, they paid attention to the other characters
really
too.
To everyone, yeah.
She's more main.
That's
than
why you
others,
kind of care about all of them. In Suicide Squad, I didn't care about anyone.
Exactly.
So,
that's very important.
Yeah.
So this movie has substance. It has some good scenes, not really that many action scenes, but everything is interesting. So I don't really think about that. The heroes perform cool stuff, and Sentry is the void for most of the time. He's most of the time he was the void. The ratio is like that, more void, a bit less Sentry, which is unfortunate for me. I mean, I just want to see more Sentry, but other than that, it's fine because it was very essential to the meaning, the plot. how they dealt with that, because you
Mm,
wonder, oh my gosh, how are they going to get out of this one? This
yeah,
guy is so powerful.
exactly.
But in actuality, because of the void itself, the existing of the void is due to his mental state and trauma. If they can help him with that in some kind of a capacity, in some kind of a
Mm.
way, you know. So
And you really see how they help him. And as I always say, if in a movie there is a scene that kind of makes me cry or just get a teary or foggy eyed or whatever, then they did their job.
yeah,
So
that's what
because it
happened
really shows
actually.
you something that you kind of start thinking about it and you realize stuff, and that's actually what a superhero movie should be, no matter who
Mhm.
are the superheroes. Because let's
It's
face it,
compelling.
it's compelling.
It's
Yeah,
compelling.
let's face it, these guys are total nobody. Okay, even in comic books, they're nobodies. But, but I mean, they're not the big hitters or anything. But when you write them good and you put some sense into the movie, then it doesn't matter. You present the character in a good way, and then you might actually say, I actually want to learn more about the Red Guardian. Why not? I have an article about that, about him. Or, I want to learn more now about John Walker or whatever, because they made him interesting. Yes, sure, you find that they're different in the comic book, but you do the work, and they did their work. You're already interested in the character.
Yeah, and actually, some guy, I'm not sure which review I've watched, but someone said that, oh my gosh, if you haven't seen the Falcon and Winter Soldier show,
Hmm.
you have absolutely zero idea what this guy John Walker is doing there.
No, no,
Like no idea, and that's not true. I mean,
not
how
true.
how this is what we have seen many times before we review
Hmm.
a movie. Also, we watch others' reviews, and we are totally misled.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
exactly.
I mean, ridiculous. So he did not ever watch the show.
No.
I watched the show, but even if I didn't, and he of course can tell ya,
Hmm.
they explain perfectly why he's there, who he is through the dialogue, which is
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
So seamlessly, basically, not on the nose, you learn what is this guy doing
Hmm.
there, who is he, why does he look like Captain America but very ugly and with the beard. And they really actually make a joke about that he's the discounted
The
Walmart
discounted
version of
Timu
Captain
Captain America.
America.
Yeah,
Not Timu, but I think they said
yeah, yeah. They said the
yeah.
American stuff.
Yeah, there's some jokes that were actually pretty cool, stuff that you are thinking as
Mm,
as a viewer, like, who is this discounted Captain America? Yeah,
mm,
that's exactly how it is, and they tell you what he has done in his life that is bad, and you're like, oh my gosh, this guy is a joke. He's a prick. That's how he plays here, but he also has growth in this movie
mm.
because he really has to deal with his insecurities and character traits that prevent him to be a real hero, but all that he wants is to be a real hero. He's just jerk.
Yeah, just that, just that.
He's just like inherently a jerk and not a hero. He's
Mm,
some guy that has a lot of insecurities and he tries to compensate by just stating his titles and what a war veteran and
yeah,
how decorated he was before he became Captain Not America for 2 seconds. By the way, in the show, he did become Captain America for two
two
seconds
seconds, yes.
in the show, and then he was just U.S. agent, and he was taken by this I forgot her name again, Val.
Wow, yeah. But that's actually why we understand why he cannot be Captain America. 'Cause he's the total opposite of Captain America, and you get that, if you see him for the first time, you say, oh, so that's why he's not Captain America. He's actually the opposite.
Yeah.
That's literally what would have happened if instead of Steve Rogers, you gave this guy first, the original super serum. Actually, that's why actually Steve was chosen. He's not like that. You know,
Yeah.
that's not what a hero should behave. Kind of understand it.
At least they
So yeah.
mentioned in the movie that, well, you give a guy like Steve Rogers a serum, he
Mm.
becomes a hero.
Mm-hmm.
You give a guy like Sentry a serum or
Yeah,
whatever they
yeah,
did to him, which was a lot apparently,
yeah.
and you don't know what you're
You
gonna
don't know
get
what
because
is going
he's
to happen. Yes.
already, unstable.
Yeah.
And that's how it is. At least they gave a bit more credit to Captain America because you also see
Mm.
John Walker, how he is uncontrollable. He killed a man
Mm.
on a on the freaking street, and
That
that's
was in
what's
the
in the
show,
show.
right? Yeah.
They mentioned that because this is one of the most shocking moments of the show, and he did it with Captain America's shield. He freaking beheaded a guy.
Mm.
Beheaded a guy in Marvel on the street. He had blood on his head,
Shield. Oh, you know his
on
head.
the
Okay.
shield.
Oh boy.
And that was shocking. Like everything stopped. Just you just forgot to breathe in that moment when you saw that. Probably, I don't know. Or you were like just Marvel. But by that time, we were not used to seeing such things at all
Mm.
in Marvel. So that was pretty shocking, I would say. But if you haven't seen the show, you wouldn't know. But they do explain it here, and you see how John Walker has this, and it is a burden upon him because he realized what he's done, and then what he's done, his character, that also leads to what he lost now in the current time, which you will see. So it's deep, okay? it's
Yeah, yeah,
it's deep
really.
enough for us to care, and that's what's important because this should be the baseline of what quality
Mm.
superhero movies should be, nothing below this. This should be like the baseline, and from here it can only be a great
From
movie.
here again, they have to remember how to do good movies. Actually,
Yeah,
you
we
know.
would actually like to watch this even a second time
Yeah,
if we
yeah.
could.
Which
It's that
didn't
good.
happen for many years ago. Yeah, to want to watch something the second time actually. So
Yeah, I don't
you
want to
know,
watch anything else
no,
that
no,
I can
no,
remember a
no.
second time.
Yeah,
I mean, from now. Yasu says, I don't think superheroes should be all dumb muscles with the false cause, but most modern movies of the genre often proves me wrong. What?
what do you mean?
What do you mean? Yeah, because superheroes should always have muscle that's like the baseline
But that
again.
doesn't make them dumb. Don't
That
forget.
doesn't make them
Yeah,
dumb. That's
yeah.
never the dumb thing. they
And
they they have to look like that.
yeah, they have to look like that. They really have to be your inspiration for that. You
They cannot
can.
be a soy man looking
It
guys
cannot be
or
also
girls.
a fat guy with a suit because doesn't look aesthetically pleasing. I would
Technically,
say.
Red Guardian is
Technically,
dead,
that guy
but
is that. Yeah, still, he has a suit that kind of
it
Okay,
makes him look
he's
big and
old.
fit at
Let's
least.
say he's old. Yeah.
No, he's really in a bad shape, but
Yeah,
that
yeah.
is shown in the movie
That's shown in the
why.
movie.
And
Why?
before that, we know from the Black Widow movie.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
but in general, he wouldn't be if he
yeah.
didn't abuse his
Mm.
body. You know.
Plus, really, all of them, most of the superheroes actually, has to really have a good cause. That's helping people.
Yeah.
Spider-Man with great power comes great responsibility. Things like that. Batman fighting the crime because of what happens to him.
Mm-hmm. And
They
he
all,
has to build his body.
yeah, yeah. He has to build his body. Otherwise, he's going to jump from two blocks away, and then he'll say, "Stop, criminal! I'm I'm the
Batman.
knight." Ah, okay. It's not. Yeah, let's just go to the Batmobile and
Yeah, I
Uh,
mean, people that haven't trained, I don't know if you trained, but if you haven't never really trained, because I have been training for like 10 years, mostly seriously for the most part,
mhm.
here and there for the last 2 years. I missed some days. I wasn't that dedicated just to stay in the physique, but I sustained it. Now I'm training a bit more seriously again. I'm actually making visible gains. But the point is, if you train, you feel like a totally different person.
Mhm.
It's just night and day. You feel like you can do more things and you can do more things. You become more athletic, you can jump, you can move super fast compared to before. You can just get off your couch and just do something athletic even. Like spin myself onto a pole for 2 seconds, let's say. Jump on a bench, whatever it is. There's so many
Yeah,
things I can do now.
yeah, yeah.
Actually, not get killed when my corgi pulls me down the street because he is 2 times as big as most corgis and 2 times as strong. He's so strong. Today I literally was like sliding on solid dry ground, like Michael Jackson. So if I wasn't strong like I am, I wouldn't be able to stop him. He was like less than 2 meters away from a huge German Shepherd. So all of that has a ton of meaning, and it matters a lot. Also,
Yeah.
picking him up and carrying him everywhere, and he's 19 kilograms. 19 kgs just pick around like this, like a huge baby, because he's
He's a
huge, okay?
huge baby.
He's a
Yeah.
huge baby, and just go around. And other girls cannot do what I can do at all. I can just take a girl like that and just do pew.
Yeah.
Like literally, I have done this when I was a teenager as well. I'm just like beating two girls at the same time. at the same time, and they just fly
This
around.
actually kind of answers his next point that he says. So the point is that they are way too overpowered and with no flaws. No.
No, they have
I
ton of
I know
flaws.
that's the idea behind superheroes. No. But
That's a common
maybe it's just me. I
misconception.
prefer more realistic characters. Maybe that's why I don't watch that kind of movies often. Common misconception, again, as we say. Now, to be overpowered and no flaws, Superman has flaws, but these are personality flaws, for
Yeah,
example.
it's
Just
different.
much like Sentry, if you watch that movie, he's the most powerful of any character that you see in that movie. Hell, maybe in the whole Marvel universe, debatable, but still, uh, or in the MCU at least, but he has flaws. They do have flaws, and that's what makes them superheroes because they fight for those flaws, not to be there, to overcome them. It's not about the superpower, just the superpowers is because, well, you need them in order to help.
Yeah, to save people.
Otherwise you can't. That's why Captain America gets the serum. He wants to help finish the war. He wants to help winning the war.
Yeah, and
And
he
then
has the qualities. So when he takes the serum, he can really use that power for
mhm.
good and not be corrupted by it, has his ego
Yeah,
inflated by it or
in a
whatever.
way, in a way, the serum actually doesn't just give him power so that he become super powerful things. That he already has those qualities. The serum just unlocks them. It makes the potential even more because they saw that guy there has the potential. If you give him this, he'll unlock those qualities, and then you have the hero, and that's it. But all of them had flaws for that. Batman is full of flaws. Batman is not a very good example for mental health.
No,
And
no, he's messed up.
yeah, but he still trains his body to the peak, train his mind to the peak, does the job that he has to do. In a way, if you like, let's say, John Wick, isn't that also a flawless character or things like that? That it's overpowered, but he has flaws in personality,
Yeah,
in a way.
I mean, there's other ways to say it.
Yeah.
So yeah, uh, yeah, Batman is a mess. So in order for him to function, he does have to be a superhero. He does have to. I mean, that is his way of coping to
Mm,
basically try to prevent what happened to his parents. That is him coping.
yeah.
Then to build his body and all the things that he knows, to know all of these martial arts,
Mm,
um, the way that he is strategizing, he trains his mind, he trains his willpower. Actually, building up willpower is one of the things that you create when you try to build and sustain a physique, because there's a ton of knowledge that goes into that.
mm,
And if you don't have the willpower, you're not going to be able to keep that up.
yeah.
So if you can keep that up for longer and you can look perfect for decades, no matter if you're getting old, you're just gonna look great on older age. Uh, those are qualities that people pay millions just if they can just lay under the knife and
Mm,
create
yeah.
that. If
Yeah.
it's possible, they would do it. They rather do that than build the willpower, build the knowledge, spend the time, still find, well, still say no to some things, to drinking sometimes, or a lot of the times to say no to some foods on occasion, or
Mm,
a lot of the time. It's all about willpower, mental fortitude, how to train your body and yourself, and just to build better health. So you're building a better mental health like that.
mm,
You're
yeah.
learning discipline. There's a lot of things that goes into that. It's not just like, oh, I'm gonna train for vanity. It's not for vanity. I mean, some people maybe do it for vanity, but they're stupid. You're supposed to do it for all around health
Mm,
and the
yeah.
qualities that you create when you actually achieve that and you prove to yourself you can do it. And when you can do it for all your life, if you can do that, or for at least a few years, you
These
still achieve something.
these essentially are the superpowers, actually. And Yastu says, are superpowers giving younger viewers false expectations and false promises? Just discussing. And just like Gary, I've studied psychology for 6 years, and that's an interesting topic. I have studied also three psychologies to be a teacher. Three types of it for 4 years. Uh, but no, it doesn't. I was 5 when I first picked up a comic book. And I never thought, oh, that's a false promise there. So I can't be like, no, exactly the inspiration was there. The inspiration there to see how they look, what they do, and you say, Oh, so okay. If I unlock all of my qualities, no, I won't be able to fly like Superman. But you feel more confident, and that's your flying. You will know what things to do, what things to try, what discipline you can build. You will have, the earning to become something better. For example, I was 90 kilograms at a point, but superheroes actually have me say maybe I can do something about it because I really don't want to stay like that.
Yeah,
You
you
know,
don't
it's
want to look like a
yeah,
blob. Yeah.
exactly. You thinking that you're all powerful and things like that. That most teenagers think that's not because of superheroes. That's because of totally different things in your life that happened. Yeah.
Ego issues.
Also, actually, Superman in his Inception actually starts from some things of psychology as to like one of the inspiration for Siegel and Schuster, who created Superman, who was the very first superhero with superpowers, not the first superhero, but the first with superpowers. One of the inspiration was actually the book of Nietzsche, the Übermensch, or the uh,
Superman, basically.
Superman, let's say, from German, because Uber means kind of like, but Superman, in which he talks about that you unlock your potential, you become that Ubermensch from
Yeah.
German. So that's one of the inspiration actually behind him. So you see, they actually get things from psychology there. So
Hmm.
you know how you going to
Go about it.
go about it. It's depends of you. Sure, there are people who read comic books and say, nah, you know uh, of most of my life I have met people and still keep meeting people who say Superman is boring because he can do everything, and I say, how is that boring? How really is that boring? No, but Batman is not boring because he has no powers. Really? So yeah, that's always the issue about
It's
things
a
like that. people
misconception.
people think that
Yeah.
if they have powers or they're overpowered, they automatically become boring.
And the other thing is that nobody wants to actually see themselves for who they really are in real
Mm-hmm.
life and how they feel about themselves. They're actually insecure themselves, and that's why when they see a hero, they project their insecurities on the hero, thus see them less as they are,
Mm-hmm.
and just try to push them down in their minds and try to find something to gripe about those heroes.
Mm-hmm.
That is how it always is. They feel like they have some complex, based on the hero that they're watching for some reason, instead of that hero being an inspiration
Mm-hmm.
for them. Because once
That's
again, it's never about the powers, it's about the qualities. And you
mm-hmm.
and you know when Superman, for example, loses his powers, he's still that same righteous person that will
Mm-hmm.
always try to do the right thing.
Yeah,
And that is amazing, and it's evident in the comic books. There's even a
exactly.
storyline
Yeah.
with Hercules like
Mm-hmm.
that, and
Yeah.
where a princess show and Hercules when he loses his
The
powers.
powers just gives you the boost so that you help better. You really need them, and none of them would actually, if tomorrow some godlike entity tells them, now one of you, whoever, if you want to get rid of your powers and have normal life, just say. None of them is going to say it. None of them. Spider-Man once said, uh, for me, having a normal life is no longer an option because I have this life now. He accepts it and he said, but that's my normal life, with the powers and the responsibility and everything that you have, in order to help. You've read the book. Superman comes from there.
Yeah.
Here you go, yes. So, yeah, deeply rooted in psychology again. So, really, actually, if you watch that movie, they show that in a great way. All of them have the qualities. They just kind of, foggy minded a bit until they actually unlock the potential, but they all have it.
Yeah. And the other thing is that when we actually finish our first video, which is going to be about Superman,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to understand a lot
Yeah,
about
yeah, yeah.
the Man of Steel and how things presented there, which are so deep that nobody else really
Mm-hmm.
thought about it. And we have watched many essays through the years, and everybody actually missing the greatest points of these movies. But we
Mm-hmm.
got it. So yeah, hopefully you can see that
I
soon.
got it. Yeah. Superpowers to help you help others, right? And we come to the matter of the ego.
Well, what do you mean though?
What do you mean?
Because the heroes that are worthy, they can also they,
Have the
they
powers.
have developed ego, and developed ego doesn't mean to be arrogant. It means that
Mm-hmm.
you control and you realize what you have. Basically, you are humble but objective and confident in your power without actually being an egotistical maniac.
Mm-hmm.
So, a developed ego is an ego that's balanced, and lower level ego, so to speak, is an ego that is the arrogant people, the cocky people, and all of that. Superheroes obviously are not like that, because if
Yeah.
they were, then you will have this guy John Walker there,
Exactly.
who desperately
Exactly.
wants to be a hero, but he doesn't know how to go about it, and he's just a jerk. And in this movie, he is just forced
Yeah.
to see how he is so wrong, and that his choices, his behavior led to his life right now, which is basically to be seen as a joke, a misfit, and a guy that, although he has superpowers because he did take the serum,
Mm-hmm.
he
But with
is,
the basic human ego, which you say
yeah,
about, I mean, the basic
he's,
human ego.
yeah,
She just answered that.
yeah, he has this basic, very low level human ego of a guy that just parades around his achievements, but everything just doesn't matter when you're freaking prick at the
Yeah.
end of the day,
Yeah.
because he is reckless as well. He does make mistakes on the field that could cost all of his team here their lives, kind of like in the beginning of the movie even, and
Mm.
you see how ridiculous he is, and then you see other things and his issues. So you have perfect examples of people that don't have a good character, and they don't deserve the powers that they have. And,
Mm.
and to deserve them, to use them correctly, they do have to grow and achieve this higher ego. Otherwise, they
Yeah.
destroy themselves and they hurt others.
That's actually a good topic for another superhero essay, actually, with the
Yeah.
ego and stuff. We can write and things about that. Yeah, because we do have many ideas for it. But
Yeah.
yeah, so really, that's actually one other problem, that because of that misconception of most of people, that's why now we're going to see a depowered, beaten down, all bloody, broken, whatever, probably peed on or something like that, Superman,
Soy.
because the people usually say, I cannot see myself as this character. Man, you don't have to see that. It's a totally different thing, but that's why they depower them, because people want, oh, yeah, I want like a normal person there. Why would you want to watch a movie about a normal? Anyway, we see
That's
that
a low
every day.
level ego.
Yeah.
If you want to see a
Exactly.
hero beaten down, you have a low level ego.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
don't understand
Exactly.
that the hero's purpose is to inspire you, not
Hmm.
to relate to them. You can relate to them because they are going through human stuff
Hmm.
usually. But when it comes to the powers, it's not about relating to them like you're some kind of a mentally ill child that somebody has to like caress you with a feather all the time.
Yeah.
No, you should be able to objectively see that this hero does whatever he can. He saves the day, but he goes through the whole turmoil of different things that actually he cannot avoid. They're still a part of his life, and that puts meaning and substance into his whole arc
Hmm.
and to his character as a whole. So, yeah, no, if you don't put those things, those themes, those stories, those that character development, those struggles in those superhero movies, that then they fall flat on their faces and they don't mean anything. And that is what we saw for the last few Marvel movies. They made them less and less meaningful by the point where you're not watching anything, you're watching like a screensaver that moves
Yeah. Yeah.
around. And all the characters were written very surface level and just doesn't give you anything.
Hmm.
But now all of a sudden it's not like that with this movie, which amazing, great. Now maybe this is too late, but at least some people that did see the movie really like it and word spread, so we'll
Hmm.
see. But then Marvel gonna again dig themselves in the grave with Fantastic Four if it's really woke or whatever infested. So yeah, I mean, throughout all the characters that we always had, like Spider-Man, Superman, Fantastic Four, even using these themes or the singular hero, a lot of different topics arose that are amazing to explore. You know, the
Yeah.
relationship between, let's say, Reed and Sue, because he's this great scientist and he struggles. He tries to be perfectionist, and you see his um, this fight with himself to try to invent the best thing ever to help
Yeah,
the
yeah.
team, and then but then Sue, she always has her
Kind of
needs.
gets neglected, yes.
Yeah, she kind of gets neglected in the
Yeah.
comic books, and you see that their relationship struggles, but it's this in this more realistic way. I mean, there's many things, and Johnny Storm was
Mm.
this ridiculous womanizer who
Yeah.
wanted to pick up every woman possible. At the end of the day,
He starts with a low, with basic human ego actually, when he gets his
yeah,
powers. You know, he starts like that, but then he
he
gradually
needs to
developed.
learn.
Yeah, he also becomes a good friend with Spider-Man. He always gets there to pick him like, hey, let's race around the city, see who is faster. Meeting a character like that who already understood that when he helps, he's not going to have that ego anymore because responsibility actually helped also Johnny Storm in the comic books at least. And not only Spider-Man, but everything that happens with the Fantastic Four, and he understands. Wait a minute, so now it's a bit different. Then he actually meets Rudolph and things like that happens to him. He understands.
Yeah, he
So
starts
you know,
understanding that.
also this could be because you say I'm not sure if I watched the movie The Road actually. If you can write with who it was, maybe I remember. But because you say a good example of a hero doesn't need to be a superhero. Heroes also have the same arc actually. That's the way of the hero. They start in one way, you know, low. Something happens in their life, then they uh, actually put aside their basic ego and then become heroes because they become confident. They know what to do. I mean, you can take Luke Skywalker for example, although we can count the Force as superpowers, but you know what I mean. That's a Neo from the Matrix or things like that. You know, Harry Potter. Uh,
Yeah,
some things in the Lord of the Rings you also have it like that. So yeah, that's the journey of a hero. It's superhero because of the powers and the suits and the aesthetic, but really that's also the arc of a hero. You know,
yeah,
the way of a
and
hero.
when you take Xena for example,
Here
she's
you
a
go.
very interesting example
Yeah.
because she started evil basically, and she had to understand the error of her ways and why did she go, to be evil in the first place. And
Mm-hmm.
then after she became good, she dedicated her life to help others, and all that she did is to correct what she already did in the past. Yeah, that's a lot of did there, but yeah. And it's just profound. Literally, it's profound what she goes through the years and how the past comes to hunt her and all those things. But at the end of the day, she makes a huge difference, and she does correct what she have done, so to speak, with all the good that she has
Yeah,
done. So
yeah.
when you do a lot of good, you tip the scale towards good. That's also an important message. She didn't just give up. I mean, she tried to give up in the first episode, actually, but then she saw a girl in danger. She's like, well, why am I doing this? Why am I like bearing my
Mm,
weapons when I can just pick them up and help this girl in her village because they're going to be probably
exactly.
sold and, whatever. That's not going to be in Xena, but we know what's going to happen to them probably. And she did pick up the weapons and helped the girl. And then this whole arc and seeing the world through this young girl's eyes, like a fresh start for Xena, it was just amazing dynamic that they had, and how Xena saw how she can have a new life now and really help someone. So it's just so much meaning that just haunts me to this
Same
day.
thing, by the way, happened to Wolverine in one of the animated shows when in a couple of episodes he was wondering why does all things that happened to him actually happened to him. Why that experiment? Why the clothes? Why turning him into the perfect killing machine before that and stuff like that? He went back to one of the temples that he was studying, you know, how to meditate and stuff like that, and he asked, "What was God's purpose to actually give me this?" And showing the clothes and ripping people apart, and the monk there told him not to kill people but to protect. That's why it happened to you. You use them to protect people now. That's it. So that's the higher purpose again, much like Xena remembered, well, I'm a warrior. That's how
Yeah.
I protect people. And you say exactly my point, Logan. There is no confidence in the hero I'm talking about, just the will to do the right things with all the mistakes and doing and doubts going along. Once he understands that he's the hero, he has the confidence. That's what
I
you're
mean, they
losing here.
go, yeah, they're going hand in hand.
Hand in hand, yeah.
Eventually, maybe, I mean, you will see here, Sentry doesn't have any
Mm-hmm,
confidence in himself
mm-hmm,
at all. That's his problem. That's part of his trauma.
Superheroes are not cocky because they have the superpowers, don't forget. Again, superpowers because they will face super challenges for which you need the, the powers. But the powers are your, symbolism for believing in yourself what you can do. Just your boost in a way.
Yeah, that's how it is.
Mhm.
Well, it's easy to, mistake something for superficial
Yeah,
when it's flashy and
of
all,
course,
but
yes. I mean,
it's really
it really
that's not the
depends of the
point.
way it's presented. You are right, just about that most of the Hollywood movies presented that in a
Superficial,
superficial way. Yes,
surface level.
yeah,
That's
exactly.
our issue always.
Especially the last one, and we always say that if it's presented that way, I see on the trailer now good moments from Captain America movies. He was presented great, by the way.
Yeah.
In all of his movies. The last one with the new Captain America, no. but here is the thing about Captain America again. As we said, you can see why he gets the serum. You can't get why the new Captain America doesn't get it.
Uh,
I really don't get that still.
you mean the new Captain America movie,
The
Sam?
Sam Wilson, yeah.
Well, you understand that he's very stubborn. That's what you
That's what you
understand.
understand. Yeah, exactly.
That he will get like the hubris. I mean, that's the new movie. He has all the stupid things that you wouldn't like. Like he has the hubris. It has like the ego and everything because this guy will use all the technology of Wakanda, all of it, but he will not drink a stupid serum. So
Yeah.
what's the logic? You use technology that's not yours to make yourself strong and
Yeah.
not be crushed immediately, but you will not just
Yeah.
drink a serum.
So you're still using the suit. So by that logic, even as Tony Stark said to Spider-Man, if you're nothing without the suit, then you shouldn't have it.
Yeah.
Then why are you using the suit? Then just take the freaking serum and using the suit. I mean, that's what is going to help you even more. You want to
Yeah.
help people, right? Evangelion, Logan, the you mean the superficial, right? Because you wrote superstitions. It's what annoys me. Us too, when those characters that we love so much are presented in a superficial way, we just say that's what we see in the new Superman trailers now.
Yeah, that's the problem.
So that's the problem,
That's the
yes.
problem. They're gonna mess up Superman so bad.
And I get really angry at things like that because they are really when they presented it in that way, and then I see either kids or even or older people who didn't get because of that. For them, those heroes will always stay the muscular people who just punch other people because they were presented like that, or because they saw just a comic book a page what how someone of them punches is another guy. So yeah, Hollywood and logic don't mix. Yes, you're totally right.
Yeah, so I think I saw who wrote this movie, The Thunderbolts. It was someone that wrote like The Bear Show or whatever.
Really?
But whoever that was
Did a good job here. Yeah.
It's pretty impressive.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, guys, we really gotta go. I mean, the score of this movie, because we did say review score in the title.
Oh yeah.
The score of this movie, for a Marvel movie, when we have to judge it like way back, of course, it's not that good. It's not good. Not good because of everything that we know, because those are not the A-list characters. They're the B, C, bottom of the barrel characters, although they are done very well. So when they are done well, they are compelling. Okay. As a just a movie, and that was a very good movie going experience. Could be bigger, a bit flashier. I mean, we could maybe get more scenes, but they
still kind of feels more like a TV movie.
Kind of feels more like that, yeah. I would say it's solid 8 out of 10.
Totally 8, yes.
Yeah, 8. It's totally fair.
Yeah,
considering everything.
Considering everything else, like the Captain America 4, that was 3.
Yeah, we thought that we were gonna crap on it more than Captain America.
Yeah.
But we can't because it's really good. So that's it, guys. Thank you for amazing discussion, Gary and Loa. Hopefully see you again soon. Have a great evening, night. Yeah.
Yeah, we thank you too for being here. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
The first essay is coming.
It's coming. Yeah, it's coming. Thank you, guys. Love you. Bye bye.